Tim Duncan built his career on consistency and results, not on big statements about other players. Through most of his time in the league, he rarely spoke about favorites or offered public praise. Now, at 49, he has reflected on the players he respected most. Each choice says something about what Duncan valued in the game: skill, effort, and professionalism. These are the 7 players he pointed to when asked about his personal favorites. The first on the list is everyone's favorite undersized guard, Allen Iverson.
Like you know how when you wish someone was a little taller, a little stronger?
Allen Iverson's place among Tim Duncan's most respected opponents came from a combination of production, toughness, and style. At 6'0" and listed at just 165 pounds, Iverson defied the norms of an era built on physical defense and hand-checking. His 2001 MVP season remains the centerpiece of his legacy. That year, he averaged 31 points, 4.5 assists, and 2.5 steals per game while leading Philadelphia to a 56-26 record and a trip to the NBA Finals. He topped the league in scoring 4 times across his career, proving his dominance wasn't confined to one season. Duncan admired that Iverson approached every game with the same intensity. He attacked bigger defenders without hesitation, constantly driving into contact, drawing fouls, and getting to the free throw line. Despite his size disadvantage, Iverson consistently ranked among the league leaders in minutes, field goal attempts, and steals, reflecting both his endurance and his aggression. For Duncan, who built his career on control and efficiency, Iverson represented the opposite: chaos, speed, and unrelenting pressure. That contrast only deepened the respect. Iverson's ability to succeed against the physical defenses of the early 2000s impressed even one of the best rim protectors of the era, solidifying his place as one of Duncan's toughest covers.
Anytime he wanted to, 40s, 50s, whatever he wanted to do.
Iverson consistently put up strong numbers against San Antonio, averaging 26 points per game across 19 career meetings. One of his best showings came in March 2002 when he poured in 41 points, cutting through a defense anchored by Duncan and known for its discipline. The Spurs often relied on Bruce Bowen or other bigger perimeter defenders to check him, but Iverson's penetration frequently pulled Duncan into switches at the rim. His quickness forced San Antonio to rotate and adjust, disrupting a system that thrived on structure. The matchup showed the difference in styles. Iverson thrived in broken plays and fast bursts, while Duncan preferred half-court control and efficiency. Even so, Iverson's ability to produce against one of the best defensive teams of the era showed why Duncan regarded him as a rare opponent who could challenge even the Spurs' carefully designed schemes. Tim Duncan regarded Allen Iverson as one of the defining stars of the early 2000s, a guard who carried the mantle of perimeter scoring before Kobe Bryant and LeBron James reached their peaks. Allen became the face of perimeter scoring in the early 2000s, carrying that role before Kobe Bryant and LeBron James reached their peaks. He built a reputation on endurance and fearlessness, playing more than 40 minutes a night for 9 straight seasons. Even with that load, he collected 4 scoring titles, the 2001 MVP, and finished his career with 24,368 points. At 6 feet tall, he absorbed physical play and still attacked the rim as if size didn't matter. Against elite defenses, he forced rotations, drew contact, and kept finding ways to score.
I used to see him after games, bruised, banged up, and his only thing was, yo, whap.
By the time his career ended, he had set a standard for guards who followed, proving that smaller players could dominate an era defined by size and strength. The next player is an often forgotten playmaker from the 90s and the early 2000s, Stephen Marbury. In a 1998 interview with Dan Patrick, Tim Duncan surprised people by calling Stephen Marbury the bomb. For Duncan, who almost never praised opponents publicly, the comment was striking. Marbury had already shown he could score and distribute at a high level, averaging 16 points and 8 assists as a rookie. His quick handle and ability to get into the lane made him difficult to guard, and he had no problem creating shots for himself or his teammates. Pairing with Kevin Garnett, he helped push Minnesota to its first playoff berth. What stood out to Duncan was how Marbury controlled pace and pressure, attacking defenses off the dribble and keeping them on edge. His combination of speed, vision, and fearlessness made him a guard who could impact games in multiple ways. That style left an impression on Duncan early, explaining why Marbury became one of the rare players he publicly praised in his rookie season. By his second season, Stephen Marbury was producing at an all-star level with averages of 18 points and 8.5 assists. His ability to attack defenders off the dribble and keep the ball on a string made him difficult to contain, especially in transition. Duncan respected how Marbury dictated pace, using quick bursts to create driving lanes or set up teammates. The contrast in styles was clear. Duncan relied on positioning and patience in the post, while Marbury relied on speed and improvisation at the top of the floor. After his 1999 trade to New Jersey, Marbury carried even more responsibility, lifting his numbers to 23 points and 9 assists. That season confirmed he could handle the role of a primary option, and it explained why Duncan's early praise held weight.
Marbury leaving it off the glass!
By the end of the 1990 seconds, Stephen Marbury had already established himself as one of the league's most dynamic young guards. After being drafted 4th overall in 1996 and traded to Minnesota, he quickly formed a promising partnership with Kevin Garnett, helping the Timberwolves reach the playoffs for the first time in franchise history. In his second season, he averaged 17.7 points and 8.6 assists, cementing his role as a floor leader. The real breakout came after his 1999 trade to the New Jersey Nets. In the lockout-shortened season, he posted 23 points and nearly 9 assists per game, becoming one of only a handful of players to average over 20 points and 8 assists that year. He maintained that level in the early 2000s, earning All-Star selections in 2001 and 2003. His career included productive stretches in Phoenix and New York, where he averaged 20 points and 8 assists during the 2002-03 season. Across 13 NBA seasons, Marbury finished with over 16,000 points and 6,400 assists. His ability to combine scoring with playmaking put him in rare company statistically, even if his teams rarely contended. Later, he extended his career in China, becoming a 3-time CBA champion and a celebrated figure overseas. From China, let's head over to Air Canada and talk about Duncan's favorite dunker, Vince Carter. Vince Carter's arrival in the NBA was explosive, and even the most reserved superstars couldn't ignore him. He claimed Rookie of the Year in 1999 with averages of 18 points, 6 rebounds, and 3 assists, showing he was more than just a dunker. His mix of athleticism and scoring range quickly made him the focal point of the Toronto Raptors. The following year, his 2000 Slam Dunk Contest performance turned him into an international icon. Moves like the 360 windmill and the dunk where he hung by his elbow on the rim remain etched into basketball history, redefining what a dunk contest could be. Carter carried that momentum into the 2000-01 season, boosting his scoring to 28 points per game and guiding the Raptors to a 47-35 record. In the playoffs, he engaged in a duel with Allen Iverson, each posting 50-point games in the second-round series. That stretch confirmed Carter's ability to perform under postseason pressure and elevated him from highlight machine to genuine franchise cornerstone. Duncan's Spurs saw plenty of Carter, starting with Toronto and later during his years in New Jersey. In February 2000, Carter dropped 39 points on San Antonio, marking one of his first big performances against a title-contending defense. By the time he joined the Nets in 2004, Carter was a seasoned scorer who could attack in every way. Across those years, he consistently put up around 20 to 25 points in Spurs matchups, using his shooting, mid-range pull-ups, and explosive drives to test their schemes. Even when San Antonio's discipline and depth usually carried the day, Carter's ability to rise up over defenders or hit tough shots meant Duncan and his teammates could never relax.
That's ridiculous, man.
Vince Carter closed his career in 2020 after 22 seasons, the longest run ever for a guard or forward. He played 1,541 games, ranking 3rd in NBA history, and became the only player to appear in 4 different decades from the 1990 seconds into the 2020 seconds. His career totals included 25,700 points, placing him 19th all-time, along with more than 4,700 rebounds and 4,700 assists. From 1999 through 2007, he averaged at least 20 points per game for 9 consecutive seasons, with his peak at nearly 28 per game in 2001 when he led Toronto to the playoffs. Even against San Antonio, he delivered big moments, including a game-winning three-pointer in the 2014 postseason while with Dallas, a shot Duncan later described as a reminder of Carter's staying power. In the later stages of his career, he became a reliable veteran presence for Memphis, Sacramento, and Atlanta, still producing double-digit scoring well into his late 30s. His ability to transition smoothly from franchise star to veteran leader without off-court drama cemented his reputation as one of the league's most respected professionals. Carter's longevity stood as proof of how talent, adaptability, and conditioning could sustain relevance across 2 full decades. Next player on Duncan's list is one of the best and most respected of all time, and that's Kobe Bryant.
What was it like going up against the late, great Kobe Bryant year after year?
Nearly 30 years ago, Tim Duncan gave an interview where he said, "Kobe Bryant is going to be one of the guys." The statement carried weight because Duncan almost never made predictions or handed out praise, and Kobe was only 19 at the time. Entering his second season, Bryant had boosted his scoring to more than 15 points per game, and was already showing the mentality that would define him. Duncan, then a rookie himself, could see Kobe's growing confidence and obsession with improving every facet of his game. That same year, Kobe became the youngest All-Star starter in league history, averaging over 22 points per game by the lockout-shortened 1999 season. Duncan's early words proved prescient, as Kobe would go on to lead the Lakers into their dynasty years. It remains one of the first recorded moments where Duncan openly recognized a peer's potential greatness. From 1999 through 2010, the Western Conference was defined by the battles between Duncan's Spurs and Kobe's Lakers. The two franchises combined for 9 finals appearances and 7 titles in that stretch, making their rivalry the era's centerpiece. Kobe often delivered scoring bursts that tested San Antonio's system, like his 45-point effort in Game 5 of the 2001 Western Conference Finals. Duncan, in turn, imposed his steady dominance, producing multiple playoff performances with 30 points and 20 rebounds that kept San Antonio competitive. Their 2002 Western Semifinals clash underscored the duel. Duncan averaged 29 points and 17 rebounds in the series, but Kobe's 26 points per game, including key shots in the closing moments, carried the Lakers through. Every postseason meeting became both a team struggle and a personal showcase of perimeter scoring against interior control. Duncan eventually described Kobe as one of the rivals who defined his career, pointing out how facing the Lakers meant preparing for the highest level of competition. Kobe returned that respect, praising Duncan as the anchor of San Antonio's dynasty and someone who matched his own intensity without the need for theatrics.
One of the best players in the game.
Their careers ran in parallel, each collecting 5 championships, and many of those runs came at the expense of the other. The battles were often unforgiving, but once the games ended, both acknowledged the greatness across the floor. The mutual respect became as much a part of their legacy as the rivalry itself, 2 players pushing each other while leaving a balanced record that symbolized the competitive balance of their era. From greatest rivals to greatest teammates, let's talk about David Robinson, Duncan's favorite player he ever played with.
Timmy is like a brother to me.
When Duncan arrived in 1997, Robinson had already cemented himself as one of the league's premier big men, with an MVP in 1995 and a Defensive Player of the Year award in 1992. Duncan often repeated that he was very fortunate to start his career next to someone of Robinson's caliber. The veteran's approach to conditioning, daily preparation, and calm leadership gave Duncan a model to follow. Robinson never viewed Duncan as a threat, but as a partner, making it easier for the rookie to find his place.
Tim came to San Antonio, and we just became fast friends.
That openness created the foundation for the Twin Towers era. Duncan frequently pointed to Robinson's humility as the defining influence, proving that long-term winning depended on embracing roles and prioritizing the team's goals over individual recognition. Duncan and Robinson gave San Antonio a frontcourt unmatched in size and balance. In just Duncan's second year, the Spurs won the 199 championship, with Robinson posting steady numbers of 16 points and 10 rebounds through the playoffs, while Duncan dominated to earn Finals MVP. Robinson's presence absorbed defensive attention, allowing Duncan to grow without carrying the entire burden. By 2003, the roles had shifted. Duncan was the league's MVP and the primary scorer, while Robinson, in his final season, focused on defense and rebounding. In the title-clinching Game 6 of the Finals, he contributed 13 points and 17 rebounds, a fitting close to his career. Their 2 titles together marked both the culmination of Robinson's legacy and the launch of Duncan's long run as the cornerstone of the Spurs dynasty.
He's a humble guy. He has.
Duncan often described Robinson as the teammate who shaped his path. He pointed to Robinson's professionalism, preparation, and willingness to share the spotlight as lessons that guided his own approach. Robinson's career achievements included 10 All-Star selections, the 1995 MVP, and 2 championships. But Duncan placed equal weight on his example off the court. He highlighted Robinson's humility, noting how he never demanded attention despite being one of the league's dominant centers. That balance of excellence and modesty became the standard Duncan followed throughout his career. Robinson's influence reached beyond their titles together, embedding values of loyalty and respect that Duncan carried until retirement. From mentors, we're going back to rivals. Let's talk about Tim's respect for Dirk Nowitzki.
We can't stop him. He's a 7-foot player, and he's able to put the ball in.
Duncan's praise for Nowitzki reflected how rare it was to see a superstar commit to one franchise for his entire career. Dirk entered the league in 1998 as a skinny 20-year-old from Germany and faced early doubts about his ability to adapt. By the mid-2000s, he had developed into one of the most feared scorers in basketball, combining 7-foot size with perimeter shooting. His signature one-legged fadeaway became a staple, frustrating even elite defenders. Over 21 seasons with Dallas, he averaged more than 20 points per game in 12 different years and climbed to over 31,000 career points, placing him among the game's all-time leaders. Duncan respected how all of this came from discipline and repetition rather than flash. The Spurs-Mavericks rivalry became a fixture of the Western Conference throughout the 2000s. With Duncan and Nowitzki at the center, after the Spurs' early win in 2001, the intensity grew with each postseason meeting. In 2003, San Antonio advanced past Dallas in the conference finals behind Duncan's MVP-level play, though Nowitzki's absence in the later games left questions about what might have happened at full strength. The peak of the rivalry came in 2006 during the Western semifinals, one of the most dramatic series either star ever played. Game 7 inches San Antonio turned into a classic, with Nowitzki scoring 37 points and converting a crucial 3-point play with seconds remaining to force overtime. Dallas went on to win the game and the series, giving Dirk one of his signature career moments. For Duncan, those battles with Nowitzki represented the kind of high-level competition that defined his era.
Hardest player?
Hardest player.
Oh, Dirk Nowitzki.
And what?
Dirk's career totals placed him among the all-time elite, and Duncan often acknowledged the significance of his production. The 2011 title run, where Nowitzki averaged nearly 28 points per game and defeated a string of powerhouse teams, stood as the defining example of his persistence and growth. Their mutual respect was clear even after the competition ended. When Dirk retired in 2019, Duncan praised his ability to keep playing at a high level into his 42nd. Across 57 head-to-head meetings, Duncan averaged 20 points and 11 rebounds, while Nowitzki averaged 21 points and 8 rebounds. The numbers reflected how evenly they pushed each other during their careers. From an old-school European MVP and champion to a new-school one, let's talk about the player Duncan loves the most nowadays, Nikola Jokic. In a rare public comment about an active player, Duncan said in the 2020 seconds, "I like watching Denver and Jokic. The Joker is a lot of fun to watch," later adding that Jokic had become his favorite current player. The praise came as Jokic transformed from a little-known second-round pick in 2014 into the defining big man of the modern game. By 2024, he had already collected 3 MVP awards, winning back-to-back in 2021 and 2022 before adding a third in 2024. His greatest accomplishment came in 2023, when he guided the Nuggets to their first NBA championship and earned Finals MVP honors with averages of 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 7 assists per game across the run. That playoff performance was regarded as one of the most dominant in league history. By 2024, his career averages stood at 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists, numbers that placed him firmly among the all-time greats. Duncan often praised players who relied on decision-making rather than showmanship, and Jokic's style mirrored that philosophy. In 2023, he became the first center ever to lead the league in assists, averaging nearly 10 per game. Denver's entire offense flowed through his passing and vision, a rarity for a big man. Instead of leaning on speed or vertical athleticism, Jokic built his dominance through positioning, timing, and soft touch around the rim. Those traits echoed the way Duncan had once controlled games with bank shots, spacing, and defensive awareness rather than raw athletic displays. Both were defined by efficiency and consistency, placing team basketball ahead of individual highlights. Duncan and Jokic crossed paths in 2015-16, a season that marked the end of one career and the beginning of another. They played 4 times that year, with San Antonio winning each matchup. Jokic, still adjusting to the league, averaged 8 points, 6 rebounds, and nearly 3 assists. But his vision and creativity already stood out. Duncan posted similar numbers with 9 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 assists, steady contributions in his final season. In March 2016, Jokic delivered his first true breakout against San Antonio, finishing with 23 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists, showing the foundation of what he would become. Years later, Duncan joked about those meetings, saying, "I played against him before he was him, and I played against him after I was me." It was a lighthearted acknowledgement that their brief overlap connected two eras of fundamentally sound big men. Tim Duncan's 7 favorites span mentors, rivals, and modern stars, showing how his respect for the game crossed generations. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a video.